The huge starship floated silently in the blackness of space. It was like no other ship anyone had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with strange lights, but no one could say what powered it. The ship had been drifting near the edge of the known galaxy for many years. Many pilots from different planets tried to fly it, but none succeeded. The ship refused to respond to anyone. Rumors spread across space that this starship was alive in some way. It did not want to fly for any alien or machine pilot. But one thing was clear. The ship wanted a human to sit behind the controls. No one understood why. On a busy space station near the galaxy's edge, a young human pilot named Alex stared at the screen showing the starship. He had heard the stories. People said only a human could make this ship fly. Alex was not sure if he believed it, but he was curious. He dreamed of flying a great ship one day. And this starship was the greatest prize. Alex knew many risks were involved. Many pilots had disappeared trying to board the ship. Some said it was cursed, others said it was protected by some ancient power. But Alex was brave and wanted to prove himself. He walked through the crowded station halls, passing traders, aliens of many shapes, and soldiers on duty. Everyone was talking about the starship. Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. What if the ship really chose only humans? And what if Alex was that human? Alex reached the docking bay where the starship rested. It was huge. The metal surface reflected the blue light of the nearby stars. The air was quiet, almost too quiet. No sound came from the ship. Suddenly, the screen flashed a message. It was from the ship itself. The message said simply, "Human pilot required." No one had seen the ship send a message before. Alex's heart raced. Was this a sign? He stepped forward. His hands trembled slightly as he touched the ship's cold surface. A soft hum started from inside. The ship seemed to awaken. A voice spoke inside Alex's mind. It was not a normal voice, but calm and deep. "Only a human can fly me," it said. Alex froze. Was he dreaming? The station's commander watched from behind a glass window. "Alex, if you want to try, be careful," she warned. Alex nodded. He was ready. The ship's door began to open slowly. A bright light poured out. Alex took a deep breath and stepped inside. The interior was dark, but filled with strange glowing panels and buttons. The air smelled fresh like a forest after rain. Alex moved toward the pilot's seat. It looked old but powerful. He sat down. The seat fit him perfectly. Suddenly, the ship lights blinked in a pattern that seemed like a welcome. Alex placed his hands on the controls. Nothing happened at first. Then a warm feeling spread through his arms. The ship was alive. It recognized him. Suddenly, the ship lifted slightly from the docking bay. The engines made no sound, but Alex felt power beneath him. Outside, other pilots watched in shock. The starship, which no one could fly, was moving, and a human was in control. The ship slowly started to leave the station, but suddenly alarms rang. The screen flashed red warnings. Something was wrong. Alex's heart beat fast. What danger was waiting? He had to find out before it was too late. The alarms inside the starship sounded softly but clearly, a steady beep that echoed through the cockpit. Alex's hand stayed firm on the controls, his eyes wide with focus. The strange ship was not like any machine he had ever flown before. It seemed to live and breathe, responding to his very touch. Outside, the stars twinkled silently, but inside, the ship, a different kind of tension filled the air. The screens flickered with strange symbols, unreadable at first. Alex leaned closer, trying to understand the messages. The ship was telling him something, but it was not using words. It was using feelings and lights. A soft blue glow pulsed near the main control panel. Alex reached out and touched it. Instantly, a rush of images filled his mind. He saw ancient worlds, distant galaxies, and a great starship like this one fighting through storms of light and energy. The ship showed him memories, stories from a time long before humans had ever flown among the stars. Alex's heart pounded. This was more than a machine. The ship was alive in a way no one had ever imagined. It remembered its past. It carried a mission that had waited for the right pilot for centuries. The soft beeping stopped suddenly. The ship fell quiet like it was listening. Then a calm voice spoke in Alex's mind again, but this time it was clearer, warmer. You are chosen. Only humans can feel what I feel. Only humans can guide me. Alex swallowed hard. Why humans? What was so special about humans that the ship needed one to fly? His thoughts were interrupted by the sudden glow of a map on the screen. The ship showed a path, a route through a dangerous part of space called the Nebula Maze. Many ships had entered it, but few had ever come out. The ship wanted to go there. Alex knew the Nebula Maze was a place full of strange energy and unknown dangers, but the ship's mission was clear. It needed him to go through it. He took a deep breath and nodded to himself. I'm ready, he whispered. The starship moved smoothly like it trusted Alex's decision. Lights flickered on the panels, and the engines hummed softly. The huge ship began to glide out of the station and into the dark, sparkling sea of stars. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. The starship was no ordinary machine. It was alive, it was wise, and it had chosen him for a reason he did not yet understand. As the ship entered the nebula maze, bright clouds of gas and light surrounded them. The stars outside seemed to dance and flicker through the colored mist. The ship's sensors blinked rapidly, trying to find a safe path. Suddenly, the ship slowed. The voice inside Alex's mind spoke again. This place is dangerous. Many have lost their way here. But together we will find the path. Alex felt calm but alert. He guided the ship slowly, watching the glowing panels. Every now and then, the ship would hum or pulse, as if it was feeling the maze's energy. Hours passed like this. The starship moved carefully, with Alex as its guide. The maze was full of twists, turns, and strange forces that tried to push them off course. But Alex and the ship worked together, sensing each other's moves. Then, something unexpected happened. The ship's lights flickered and the voice grew urgent. Warning, something approaches. Alex looked out into the misty darkness. At first he saw nothing, but then glowing shapes appeared, like giant shadows moving silently through the nebula clouds. Alex's mind raced. What were those shapes? Were they dangerous? The ship responded quickly, shifting its shields and preparing to move faster. Alex gripped the controls tighter. The shapes got closer. They were not ships, but something alive. Strange creatures made of light and energy floating and swirling in the nebula. The ship's voice was calm but serious. They are the guardians of the maze. They test those who pass. We must prove ourselves. Alex felt his pulse quicken. He understood now. The starship had brought him here to face this test. It was not just about flying. It was about trust, courage, and connection. The glowing creatures moved closer, surrounding the starship. Alex held his breath. Then, slowly, the creatures began to circle peacefully, their lights pulsing softly. The ship responded by lighting up in harmony. Alex felt the ship's energy flow through him. The guardians seemed to accept him and the starship. The glowing shapes faded back into the mist, and the ship's voice said softly, "You have passed the test, human. Together we will fly far." Alex smiled for the first time since he entered the ship. He was not alone. The starship and he were partners now. As the ship continued through the nebula maze, Alex felt ready for whatever lay ahead. This journey was just the beginning. The ship moved steadily through the vast emptiness, the colorful clouds of the nebula maze swirling gently around it like a slow, cosmic dance. Alex felt a strange calm inside him. He and the ship were no longer just pilot and machine. They were becoming one. The ship's voice echoed softly in his mind, a quiet presence guiding him through the endless stars. But even with this calm, Alex sensed something else. A mystery hidden deep within the ship itself was waiting to be uncovered. The ship had shown him ancient memories before, but now it seemed to be holding back something important. A secret that could change everything. As Alex examined the controls, his fingers brushing over glowing panels. A new message appeared on the main screen. It was a simple phrase, glowing softly in blue letters. Find the core. Alex did not understand at first. What was the core? Where was it hidden? He touched the screen, and immediately images flashed in his mind. A small, bright chamber deep inside the heart of the ship, glowing with energy. The core was the power source of the ship, but also something more. It seemed alive, pulsing, with light and warmth. The ship needed Alex to reach it, but the path was locked behind puzzles and challenges. Alex felt a thrill of curiosity. The ship was inviting him deeper, asking him to discover its true nature. The Starship was not just a tool for flying, it was a guardian of ancient knowledge. The corridors of the ship were quiet, but alive with soft light. As Alex walked through them, he noticed strange symbols glowing faintly on the walls. They seemed to pulse with a rhythm that matched his heartbeat. He pressed his hand on one symbol and a hidden door slid open. Inside, a room full of puzzles awaited him, shapes, colors, and patterns that had to be matched. Each puzzle seemed to respond to Alex's touch, lighting up when solved. It was as if the ship was testing his mind, his patience, and his ability to think like a human. Hours passed as Alex moved from one puzzle to another. Sometimes he felt tired, but the ship's gentle voice kept encouraging him. "You are the key," it said. "Only you can unlock my heart." Finally, after what felt like an endless journey, Alex reached a heavy door glowing with golden light. He pressed his hand on the door and it opened slowly. Inside, the core glowed brightly, a sphere of pure energy swirling with colors that shifted like liquid fire. Alex stepped closer, feeling warmth and power. The core seemed to respond to his presence, glowing brighter. The ship's voice whispered, "This is the source of my life. You must protect it, for it holds the balance of the stars." Suddenly, the ship shook gently. A soft alarm beeped, and the lights dimmed. Alex looked around, puzzled but calm. The ship was warning him of something. Not danger, but a new challenge. Outside, through the thick windows, Alex saw a strange sight. A cluster of small ships appeared, moving slowly but steadily toward them. They were not hostile but curious, like explorers searching for something. The ship spoke again. "They are the Seekers. They want to learn about me, about you." Alex felt a mix of fear and hope. Who were these Seekers? Could they be friends or foes? The Starship began to send signals, strange patterns of light and sound, trying to communicate. The Seekers responded in kind, sending back their own signals. Alex watched, fascinated, as a quiet conversation began between the Starship and the Seekers. It was a meeting of minds, a silent exchange of stories and knowledge. The ship turned to Alex. "This is your first test of trust. The Seekers want to understand, but they may also want to take. You must protect the core and decide if we can trust them." Alex's heart raced. The journey was becoming more complicated. The Starship had chosen him not only to fly, but also to be its guardian, its friend, and its protector. He nodded slowly. "I will do my best." The Seekers moved closer, their small ships glowing softly. Alex felt the weight of his responsibility. This was no longer just a flight through space. It was a test of courage, wisdom, and connection. The Starship's light pulsed warmly beneath him. Together, they were ready for what lay ahead. The Starship and Alex drifted silently in the vastness of space as the small glowing ships of the Seekers hovered near them. The Seekers were unlike anything Alex had seen before, delicate shapes of light and color that moved with a quiet grace, almost like living stars. Alex felt a mixture of curiosity and caution. The ship's gentle voice echoed in his mind, reminding him that trust had to be earned, not given freely. The ship began to send pulses of light and soft sounds. Alex watched as the Seekers responded, their colors shifting like a peaceful dance. It was as if the Starship and the Seekers were speaking in a language older than words, a language of energy and feeling. Alex understood that this moment was important. The starship needed him not only to pilot, but to understand and protect it. He looked around the control room and noticed a new set of symbols glowing faintly on the console. The ship was inviting him to learn more, to connect deeper. As Alex placed his hands on the controls, he felt a wave of warmth spreading through him. The ship's energy flowed into his body, making him feel stronger, more alive. It was a connection, like nothing he had ever experienced, a bond between human and starship, mind and machine. The voice in his mind spoke softly. Together, we are more than one. Together, we can face what comes next. Suddenly, the ship shifted its course toward a distant star cluster, a place rich with energy and mystery. The seekers followed, their glowing shapes moving like gentle shadows behind the starship. As they approached the star cluster, strange lights flickered in the distance. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with a quiet tension. This was new territory, a place the starship had not shown him before. Inside the cockpit, the panels glowed with soft light, showing maps and symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. Alex studied the display, trying to understand the starship's purpose. Then, a soft vibration filled the ship. The voice spoke again. This place holds the history of the stars. It is a place of knowledge and power, but it also holds secrets. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. He realized that the starship was more than just a ship. It was a guardian of history, a keeper of stories from long ago. As they moved deeper into the cluster, Alex noticed strange structures floating in space, ancient ruins made of light and crystal, glowing softly against the dark sky. The ship's sensors showed signs of old technology, powerful and mysterious. The seekers moved closer to the ruins, their lights blending with the crystals. Alex felt a connection to the place, as if the history of the stars was speaking to him through the ship. Suddenly, the ship's voice grew urgent. We must protect this place. It is a source of great power. Others may come seeking it. Alex looked out at the glowing ruins, understanding the importance. The starship had chosen him to be its protector, to guard not only itself, but also the ancient knowledge of the galaxy. The ship's engines hummed softly as they moved carefully through the ruins. Alex felt a sense of wonder and responsibility. This journey was no longer just about flying a starship. It was about preserving the legacy of countless worlds. The seekers circled the ship, their lights flickering like stars in a gentle breeze. Alex smiled, feeling a bond not only with the ship, but with these mysterious beings. Together, they were part of something much bigger than any one person or ship. As they continued their journey through the star cluster, Alex's mind raced with questions and possibilities. What other secrets would the ship reveal? What challenges lay ahead? The starship's voice was calm and steady. We will face them together. Trust in the bond we share. Alex took a deep breath, ready for whatever awaited. The adventure was far from over. It was only just beginning. The starship glided smoothly through the quiet depths of the star cluster. Alex's hands rested lightly on the controls, but his mind was alert. The strange ruins they had passed were still fresh, in his thoughts like echoes of a story waiting to be told. The ship's gentle voice filled his mind, calm and steady, as if reminding him that this journey was about more than just movement through space. It was about understanding. Suddenly, a soft glow appeared on the main screen. It was a new message, not in words, but in patterns of light. Alex watched as the lights formed shapes, circles and lines that seemed to pulse with meaning. The ship was communicating again, but this time it was deeper, almost like a language built from feelings. As Alex concentrated, the screen began to show images. Worlds bathed in sunlight, ancient cities made of crystal, and stars shining in colors he had never seen. The ship was sharing its memories, stories of places it had visited long ago. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest, as if he were walking alongside those ancient worlds. But the images changed suddenly. Dark clouds spread across the scenes. The cities crumbled, the skies dimmed, and the stars flickered out. Alex's heart tightened. What had happened to those beautiful worlds? The voice in his mind answered gently, "Time changes all things, but the memory remains. We carry those stories so they will not be forgotten." Alex nodded slowly, understanding that the Starship was not just a vessel but a keeper of history, a guardian of the past and a guide for the future. As they continued through space, the ship's sensors detected a faint signal. It was weak, but steady, a beacon coming from a nearby moon. The Starship turned toward the signal and Alex felt a spark of curiosity. The moon was covered in ice and rock, shining cold under a distant sun. As the ship approached, Alex could see ancient ruins scattered across the surface. The signal was coming from one of them. The ship's voice spoke again. "This is a place of power, a place where past and future meet." Alex landed the ship, gently near the ruins. The air outside was thin and cold, but inside the ship, warmth surrounded him. He stepped out carefully, his boots crunching on the frozen ground. The ruins were unlike anything Alex had seen. Tall towers of crystal and stone, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Strange symbols covered the walls, and the air hummed with energy. Alex moved closer to the source of the signal, a small chamber deep within the ruins. Inside, a device pulsed with light, sending out waves of energy. The Starship's sensors told Alex that this device was connected to the core inside the ship. Suddenly, the device began to react to Alex's presence. It glowed brighter, sending waves of warmth through the air. Alex reached out and touched it, feeling a gentle pulse beneath his fingers. The Starship's voice spoke in his mind. "This is a link between worlds, a bridge across time." Alex felt a deep connection to the device, as if it were part of the same energy that flowed through the ship. He understood that the journey was not just about space, but about time and memory. As he explored the ruins, Alex found more devices like the first, each one glowing softly, each one connected to the Starship's core. The ship's energy pulsed, stronger with each discovery. But as Alex prepared to return to the ship, he felt a sudden chill. The air around him seemed to change, growing heavier. The ruins seemed to watch him, silent and waiting. The ship's voice grew serious. "This place holds many secrets. Some are meant to be found, others to be protected." Alex looked around, feeling the weight of the moment. He knew that this was only the beginning of a deeper mystery, one that would challenge him in ways he could not yet imagine. He returned to the ship, his mind full of questions and wonder. The Starship awaited, ready to continue the journey through the stars and time. Together, Alex and the Starship moved forward, bound by trust and discovery. The adventure was far from over. The Starship floated quietly in the dark space near the icy moon, its lights softly reflecting on the shimmering surface below. Alex stood at the observation window, staring out into the endless sky. The discoveries he had made on the moon still filled his thoughts. The strange devices, the glowing ruins, the feeling of time and memory flowing through everything. It was all more than he had expected. But now, a new feeling was growing inside him, a sense of purpose. The ship's voice echoed gently in his mind. "The journey is almost complete. There is one last step, one last truth to uncover." Alex turned from the window, his heart beating steady but strong. He had learned much, but he knew there was more. Something hidden deep inside. The core, something the ship had not yet revealed. The Starship was alive in a way he was only beginning to understand, and it needed him to reach its very heart. He walked slowly through the corridors, feeling the soft hum of energy all around. The ship responded to his presence, lights glowing, brighter as he moved closer to the central chamber. The place where the core rested. When he reached the chamber, Alex stood before the glowing sphere of energy. The core pulsed with light, shifting colors like a living thing. He reached out and placed his hand gently on the surface. In that moment, a flood of images rushed into his mind. Stars being born, civilizations rising and falling, endless cycles of creation and change. He saw himself, a small but important part of the vast universe. The ship showed him the meaning of its mission, to protect knowledge, to guide travelers, and to remind the galaxy that connection and trust were the greatest powers of all. Suddenly, the core's light grew brighter, filling the chamber with warmth and color. The ship's voice spoke clearly in his mind. "You have proven worthy, human. Together we will carry the legacy of the stars. Together, we will fly beyond any horizon." Alex smiled, feeling a deep bond with the starship. He was no longer just a pilot. He was a guardian of stories, a protector of history, and a part of something far greater than himself. Outside the ship, the Seekers glowed softly, their lights flickering like stars in the night. They circled the starship in a peaceful dance, welcoming the new journey that was about to begin. Alex took his place at the controls once more. The starship responded instantly, engines humming with power and grace. As they left the icy moon, behind, the stars stretched out before them, endless and full of promise. He felt the ship's presence around him, a living, breathing partner ready to explore the universe's deepest secrets. And with that, Alex knew this was only the start of a new adventure, a journey that would never truly end. The stars awaited, and together they would reach them.